We call the Norwalk WPCA regular meeting of Monday, November 18th, 2024 to order. It is 5:30 p.m. and we have a quorum. Item number 2, are there any public guests at the WPCA meeting wishing to speak?
It does not appear so, Darren.
Thank you. Hearing none. Item number 3, approve the minutes of the WPCA meeting held on October 21st, 2024. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Igneri gets that. Any questions, comments, edits, revisions, deletions, omissions? Pretty good. All in favor? Aye. Bovee, Ostafine, Igneri, Manella, Freyer, Smith. Passes unanimously. Thank you. 5:31. Item number 4. Authorize the chairman or the vice chairman of the Water Pollution Control Authority to execute an agreement with Kovacs Construction Corporation for Keeler Brook upgrade project for a sum not to exceed $9,695,000. Is there a motion to authorize? Smith. Is there commentary from staff?
Yes, good evening, everyone. So I just want to bring this for your approval and consideration tonight. So this is really the contractor, Kovacs, to redo the Keeler Brook pump station. What we did is we procured that on an emergency base. So instead of having an official bid, what we did is we sent a full package, a full bid package to 2 contractors that they actually work with us a little bit towards the end of the design. So they were part of the final adjustments on the design, and we ended up sharing the package with both of them. So we got 2 separate prices that they have to submit using our Bonfire, that is our online process, to bid it on. And then we have Kovacs as the low bidder at $9,695,000, and the second one coming almost like 40% higher than the first one. I also want to just emphasize that we know that this is a very high price, and this is not what we were let's say budget originally when we're going to replace the pump station. But there are a couple of reasons for that. The first one, the price that we had before was always an estimate engineer without the full set of drawings. Second, what happened was now we need these on an emergency base, right? So we have kind of a timeline that we need to do. Everybody knows that we need to do that. Also, right away, we know that that pump up a little bit the prices. And the third one, that is really the big reason, is that we are working on an easement on Eversource parcel that has a lot of limitations, particularly because of the vertical clearance. So the vertical clearance limitations make very hard to build a very simple building, because we cannot bring certain equipment there. There's limitations on the swing. And besides that, we are hiring a third party that will be really pretty much doing the safety control for when we're working around those lines. So with that, really kind of inflated a little bit the price on it. At the same time, I want to say that I'm very proud of the team, because as you can remember, we lost this pump station August 18, right? And here we are, November, with already a final price and ready to award. So this, and we didn't have that, right? We were, even like before, we didn't start the project before because we didn't have an agreement with Eversource. We didn't have a final design. So the whole team has been working a lot to try to bring this to the finish line. So I hope you guys consider the price. Before you guys ask, we are already working on our financial model to make sure that whatever is this extra cost that we're going to be spending now, we are moving a little bit the other projects that are not as priority as this one, so there is really no impact on our capital, let's say, disbursement plan. So we believe that although there is this extra cost, we know that there will be no change on the rates, nothing like that, at least on, because we're moving things a little bit around to accommodate. I'm open to any questions.
Any questions for the chief? Mr. Frere?
Yeah, I have two questions. First of all is, whatever happened with the FEMA money? Were we able to get any money from FEMA?
Okay, so what the good thing about the FEMA is that this project helped the region to pretty much bring it to the threshold that we needed. So now we are allowed to apply to FEMA. I actually was in this conference last week that I talked to the FEMA person about it, and I already told her that we are gonna come up, actually, I think that on our first talk, we're about 6 million that we submitted originally, and then I said that we are now even more. So we are putting all the package together, and we are submitting as the city to them. It has to go first to DEEP, goes to DEEP, and then goes to, so DEEP applies to FEMA, correct? It is a Connecticut DEEP, I think that always goes.
So last week, on Thursday night, our finance team submitted the application through the software, the FEMA software.
Okay,
And now we're just waiting for FEMA to identify a contact person that's gonna be reaching out to the Norwalk team to continue to ask for additional information and backup.
so we are doing on our side everything that we can to try to really get some funds. We will not gonna know for sure if we're gonna get it first. And second, even if we get it, we do not know when that money comes back to us. In the past, there were years after we complete a project that we ended up getting any refund. But yes, we are applying to it.
Let me just add too, at the same time, we're gonna be meeting with the city's insurance carrier.
Right.
In a couple of weeks.
So also we're trying to see if we can minimize a little bit the cost using some insurance money.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, this is a significant chunk. So how much more you alluded to the fact earlier that this exceeded whatever you had in the budget, this $10 million. So how much did we have in the budget to take care of this? And I expected, it was probably expected that you were going to replace this pumping station at some point in time. How much did we have, and how what's the incremental cost that we're looking at right now?
I think that originally our placeholder was around 6 million, right?
The last engineer's estimate was a little bit like closer to 7 million,
Yeah, but on our capital, how much we had as a placeholder?
probably around that 6 million.
Yeah, around 6 million.
And
So,
that was,
so let's say that there is a 4 million difference, right? So what will happen is some of the projects that we already have, we are not gonna do right now. We're gonna move those projects to the future.
is that going to what is that? What's that going to do for us? I mean, is that going to present any risk, or that you know, is there another pumping station that you know, we have in there for $6 or $7 million that goes burns out, and we have to replace similar to this one? What is that a possibility?
I don't think so. This was the most critical one, particularly because of the location, because we were afraid of exactly what happened, that it got flooded and then we couldn't operate. The other ones, we continue doing work. What we're moving some money also that we have more on the collection system, because part of the pipes also needs to be replaced to fit the new location of the pump station. So we're using some of the money also on the collection system that will be now for the installation of the new pump station. So that's where there's a combination of money that we are using. So we don't think that there will be anything that is imminent, that if we push another 1 or 2 years, will put our asset in danger.
Okay, so really the big surprise here is about a $3 million, $3 to $4 million increase over and above what you have in the budget already.
Yes, correct.
And because you have some room to stretch out some of the items that are in the model is not going to be impacted that much. In other words, our rates that we're charging are not going to, the taxpayer is not going to recognize any increase in rates.
Correct. And also remember that, again, at around March, again, we are already in the process of redoing our financial model again. So then we're gonna use the numbers, and whatever we have on our 5-10 year plan, it will be changing that. Also, we had a little bit of money because this year we already considered doing some of the work that we were expecting on the consent order, that because we do not have a final answer yet from DEEP, we have some of that money that hasn't been allocated to do that work. So we can also use that money as of now.
Okay, I feel much better now.
Thank you.
How long will this project take?
2 years.
2 years?
Because also we have to commission, it's not only the building itself. To build is not very hard, but we have the whole commission, and then we have to make it totally operating, and then we have to do to make it work, and then discontinue our emergency bypass. So we're saying 2 years until everything is done. We probably cannot start right now because of winter. So that's why it also will be 2 years. So will be pretty much 2 construction seasons.
Ms. Manella.
If our winter stays like this, it'll be fast. It'll be done
I
quickly.
agree, but I don't want to overpromise. I prefer always to come in looking better than what we said at the beginning.
Okay,
Ms.
understand.
Manella.
Thank you.
Yep, so so it's gonna go through the winter, so do you have a projected Godwin cost after this? I know it was, what was it, like 300 grand up
Yeah.
till this past month?
So this cost is only related to the capital improvement, is only for the project itself. Besides that, we still have the cost of maintaining the bypass. And that cost, we are trying to reduce now with the purchasing of the pumps that we did it last month, that you guys authorized. Now we're in the process of that, but there is still about $25,000 a month, right? 25,000, yes, a month as of now, as operating cost to maintain the existing bypass pump station.
And that'll probably go into early next year, January or February at the latest. Because we're expecting the first diesel pump to be delivered sometime in mid to end of December this year. And then the electric pump probably soon after. We don't have a deadline yet or
That's correct.
ETA, but most likely in January. So
Yeah.
we'll be working with Kovacs and the Veolia team to start switching pumps over, and then start returning the rental equipment pumps back to Godwin to reduce those costs.
And we're also trying to use our insurance money to try to minimize some of that cost for now.
How about the safety observer? Is that included in that cost, or do you have to pay Eversource directly for that?
That's actually gonna be coming out of the Wright Pierce scope of work that we have.
Got it.
Anybody else? All in favor? Aye. Bovee, Ostafine, Mary, Manella, Frayer, Smith, passes unanimously. 5:44 PM, item number 5, authorize the Chief of Operations of Public Works to execute orders on contract with Kovacs for Keeler Brook pump station for a sum not to exceed $969,500 or 10% of item number 4. Is there a motion to authorize the Chief of Operations? Mr. Frayer, looked like his hand was first. Any Any presentation by staff? This is simply change or, potential
No,
change
this
orders?
is just the contingency, pretty much,
Contingency.
we do that on all the public works. Usually, sometimes we make as the same item, but with A and B. This one just came as a separate item. Sometimes, the chair can move both items because it's pretty much the same thing. This is the contingency, so if we hit any change order, I'm authorized to authorize change order to the contract up to 10% of the value. So this way, if there is some unforeseen conditions that ended up adding more cost, we don't need to wait for the meeting to get approved. So it is usually a standard of the industry.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Bovee, Ostafine, Igneri, Manella, Freyer, Smith, passes unanimously. Thank you. 5:46 PM, item number 6, authorize the City of Norwalk purchasing agent to authorize a sole purchase order to Gangris Ford LLC for the purchase of 2 Ford Escape plug-in hybrids for a sum not to exceed $73,812.40. Is there a motion to authorize the City of Norwalk purchasing agent? Mr. Igneri, presentation from staff.
Mr. Chairman, I'll take that one. So these 2 hybrid plug-in vehicles will be for staff, for the WPCA staff to use every day to go to various projects and other meetings and whatever we have to do within the city of Norwalk. So there's 3 things that's important. They're coming off the DOT bid list. So we've been working with Fleet Manager. We included the quote from the vendor who will be providing the vehicles. Like I said, this came off of the state bid list. Second, it's hybrid, so it's EV plus fuel, and it meets the city's goals and objectives for green energy. And lastly, it's for staff.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Freyer.
Didn't we have 2 cars a couple of months ago? Or did we not? Do we move that just back to the overall city fleet? I thought we had 2 electric cars that we were talking about.
There was 2 Teslas, and that was moved back to the city of Norwalk and not WPCA. So these would be WPCA staff vehicles.
Okay. And these
We're
are
trying to, I can explain a little bit about it. We're trying, we usually have 2 levels of cars in the city. And the marching orders has to be electric or hybrid on every single new vehicle that we're buying. We are trying to find what it will be the best vehicle to replace what we have as our Taurus. So finally, actually this week, the state was able to send their list out, and we found these Shoescapes that come in a very reasonable price. And it's more kind of a utility vehicle that we can put it on the job sites and all that. So that's why we would like to buy this shoe pretty much as a trial using with WPCA. So if that works, is how we're gonna even expand to some of the cars at the city. So we're keeping some of the Teslas, and hopefully the Escape will be the second option for those cars.
So, but I just want to make it clear that this is not a company car that WPCA employees are going to be driving back and forth home. They take their own vehicles to work. They would pick up one of these to go out and visit different pumping stations to follow up on field work that's going on. And it's not and it's replacing other vehicles that you've had over the last couple of years, and it's in a regular rotation that we have. As cars get older, you know, we pass them around. They I don't want to say you run them into the ground, but you do get some spare parts from some of them until eventually they're auctioned off or sold to somebody, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mr. Manella.
I just want to say, I know the city of Bridgeport just bought 3 of the same ones for their WPCA, if you're not aware. I saw them. They're, I think it's a good choice.
Okay, good.
Great.
Glad to hear that.
Anything else? I guess a rhetorical question for me, I don't know how we're authorized to authorize the Norwalk purchasing agent, but that's fine. You guys, I'm sure, worked it all out in a strong legal.
Because
department.
of the value, I can explain that, Chairman. There is a change on our procurement process that if the value is below $100,000 and is just a once purchase, and so meaning not over a year contract, we just need to do now a purchase order. We don't need to get into a contract. So in this case, we are not even writing a contract with whoever is giving us, it's just a appeal. So the resolution has for you guys to give her the authorization to create that bill. That's why.
Okay.
Let me just add to that too. It just says some information on these contracts between under $100,000. They are reviewed by the finance committee at least quarterly. So everybody really does have a pretty good look at them.
Committee?
But
Any other
so you're
questions?
you're buying off the state bid, right?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Yeah.
before we even send it to you, we need her signature before. So as if you see in the backup, we have to give the quote. We have to put the reason why we're buying it. So if it is a state contract, we have to number the state contract. If it is a sole source POY, the reason, then I sign, she signs, and then goes for approval for the board or the committee. That's how it is the rule now.
Are you trading in or getting rid of any WPCA vehicles?
No, they have been borrowing some vehicles. Their vehicles fall apart a few years ago, so now they are just kind of using everybody's vehicle that people are like hungry to try to get it back.
Okay, so the WPCA is going to have access to the newer vehicles.
Correct.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Bovee, Ostafan, Igneri, Manella, Frayer, Smith passes unanimously. Item number 7, it's 5:53 PM. Contract operations reports. Operations report. Veolia, is that you, Mr. Gambino?
No, that's me. That's me, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Steve Brock, welcome aboard.
Good evening, everybody. So first, I'm just going to go over our contract deliverables for collections. So in the month of October, our collections team completed 1.02 miles of TV inspections, cleaned 3.62 miles of sewer lines, 8 manhole inspections, and a whopping 11.41 miles of SL-RAT. We're really taking advantage of the warmer weather to do more ratting because it's harder to do in the winter. So we completed 1.97 miles of hot list cleaning, and our IPP inspection program completed 45 inspections. As far as inside the fence, the facility is operating very well. We had our best nitrogen removal performance of the year. So in the month of October, which was great. We faced a few challenges with our primary settling tanks, specifically number 1, where we had to do some work on the drive and clutch, but our team was able to repair it, and we learned a few best practices along the way that should help us in the future. So that was a good thing. Another thing I wanted to bring up is that actually in the month of October, the Norwalk team was recognized. We won an internal award with Veolia for safety, known as the Copy and Adapt Award. And essentially what we did is we reduced a trip hazard on the final clarifiers where there are spray bars to help break up any surface floating sludge. We used to have hoses that ran along these catwalks, which create a trip hazard. And we were actually able to hard pipe those lines and take them off of the catwalks, and make it so they're not a trip hazard anymore. And that was actually recognized. It's actually we won the national contest, and it's actually on the global scale right now for Norwalk's in competition to win globally for Veolia. So we're very happy with that and excited for our team. We followed all of our permit requirements for the month and completed all sampling as required and submitted all state reports. And I just also wanted to share one other small thing, that just an example of some of the good work our teams do every day. We actually found an issue at Ely Avenue and Low Street out in the collection system where we were able to remove a large amount of debris that had been previously unable to be moved because of an issue with the piping. And we were able to remove that debris, and it actually has made a significant improvement that we've been able to monitor through the smart covers out there. So all in all, it's been a really good month. And I'm excited to be here, and I think everything's going really well.
Thanks and congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
I know it would have been easy to leave the garden hose there.
It was for many years.
Anybody have any questions on number 7? Okay, moving on to number 8, it is 5:56 PM. Reports.
So number 8A, we have the fiscal year 24-25 revenues, expenditures, munis report. A copy of that is included. If there are any questions on that. Then we have 8B, discussion on the facility plan update.
So we just want to inform the board that on November 1st, we sent a letter as response to Connecticut DEEP letter that we received related to our consent order. So pretty much the letter was asking for a little more details about what was the plan that we submitted before. So we ended up responding the team to it. And we just got a confirmation, actually. I'm not gonna say that we didn't hear back because we did hear that they received the letter and they are evaluating. So I just wanna record that we have already responded to Connecticut DEEP letter on 11/1.
Thank you, thanks. Item 8C, the financial model update. So the WPCA team has engaged the Woodward and Curran team to update our financial model, and a copy of that task order is included. So we'll be working closely with Woodward and Curran in the next few weeks to get that updated. We have the discussion on the engineering projects, the Beacon Street Sanitary Sewer Project. The Brown and Caldwell team is moving forward with the design work for that project, the upsizing from the 15-inch to 24-inch on Beacon Street. So we're working closely with them as they progress in their design. We have the catch basin disconnect program and the Hubble's Lane relief sewer. We have a meeting scheduled actually for tomorrow with the DPW team to review those projects, discuss any questions, and finalize the 90% design for the Hubble's Lane relief sewer project. So we have that going on tomorrow. Discussion on WPCA construction projects. We have the Samus and Bell Island sewer shed rehabilitation project that's been ongoing. We're 88% complete with that project. That's the RCIPP lining project in the Rowayton sewer shed in the city. And the crews in the last month, the crews were limited in their work in Norwalk as they've been busy in other cities, but we're expecting them back in early January to continue on and finalize our CIPP lining contract. And so that's the update on that. We have the SCADA acquisition update. So that's our pump station SCADA contract enhancements project with Wright Pierce that we are starting up. A copy of that task order is included to just continue to enhance our pump station SCADA. And we have the Keeler Brook pump station replacement project. We previously discussed that, so we had an update on that project. We have the sewer use appeals and adjustments. We're at 62,863 on our appeals. And a copy of the 2025 WPCA meeting schedule is included for reference. if there's any questions on any of the items.
Anybody have any questions? No. No questions. Everybody's good with the meeting schedule? Anybody have any questions on anything in the agenda or not in the agenda? Right. Item number 9, it is 6 PM on the nose. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll do it.
Who got it? Mr. I think it was Mr. Igneri.
Right.
All in favor? Aye. I'm not gonna do roll call. It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We sped through it. It was a big agenda. Half hour. See you guys in December. Happy Thanksgiving to you folks who celebrate.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.